And let's just start warming up nice and slow. You know, nothing snapping or jerking, but we're trying to reach with each punch, and we're coming back with each motion as well. Just working a big range of motion here. Getting loosened up for the workout. All right, let's start punching up a little bit. No worries. Back to punching in front of us, nice and light. All right, let's shake that out. Now I want you to bend over, try to touch your toes, stretching that lower back. We'll stretch those hamstrings when we do this, reaching down safely, of course. But just try to fold yourself in half. And as I do this, I'm kind of running my hands down my legs, and my legs are freezing. Maybe I should have wore pants today, huh? But really exhale and try to get the maximum stretch in. And then as we come up, we're always coming up slowly. We don't want to get too lightheaded. Let's stretch up. You would just try cutting to the next track, maybe. All right, nice big stretch. And let's get that right arm over top, if you can. All right. Sounds better. Switch arms. Whew. Man, I've been forcing myself to do at least a 10-minute workout every day for 10 days now. And I'm really feeling good, but my shoulders are sore. I've been doing lots of upper body, obviously. And I gotta get adjusted to it, but it's good. All right, let's get that right arm across the front. You know, I really like my NFL games and the college football and the college basketball, and then I got to get something else to keep me going through the winter. Switch. You know, I statistically throughout my life, my workouts always suck in the winter, and I got to find a system to maintain that through the winter. All right. We're gonna do a little stretch to the right here, twisting that core. See, that's gonna cause a little spasm for me, but I wanna loosen that trunk up. So I'm trying to rotate, and we're not doing anything forceful. You know, don't hurt yourself, just nice and gentle. Looking to the right, twisting to the right. And release that. Go to the left. All right. Doing a little side bend, of course safely, but just let's stretch it down to the side here. Getting all limbered up for all the movements we're about to do. All right, let's stretch down to the left. All right, let's start with some core here. And we're just gonna work our chest down to our knees and then coming back upright. And whatever variation of this works for you, but let's work on that real good posture at the end here. Set those shoulders, get that chin back and down. So I'm really pulling with the back of my head, my shoulders as I come up. And when you come up, you set them down. And you lock those shoulder blades. You make sure your head's in a good position. I gotta tilt my head down and then bring it back. And then we start over. Keep it up. This trunk works its butt off for us all day, every day. We gotta feed it. All right, let's reach down to the right and come back up straight. I've been really frustrated with my health recently. You know, I was at the doctor today. I got symptoms of UTI. I've not slept well in 3 nights. I didn't sleep at all last night. But I watched this show called Hard Knocks. It's about NFL players. And let's go to the left here. And there's a player for the Dolphins. And he had a great college career, but prone to injuries. And so he quit playing football, but then he loved it so much, he came back and finished out his senior year a couple years later. And he ended up getting drafted, and now he's playing for the Dolphins. And they've been building him up the last 2 episodes about how, you know, now is his time and he's been playing really well. Let's go back to working it forward and back. And in their game last week, he was on the line. He plays linebacker, and he was just getting ready for the play. And when he went to run, when the ball snapped, his Achilles snapped. And like, here's a guy in peak physical condition, doing all the right things, and his Achilles just snaps. And that really, you know, not that I would ever want that to happen to anybody, but that made me feel better about my own situation. You know, even these people that are elite athletes doing all the right things, you know, you still just can't control what's going on with your body. And, you know, I feel like I should be able to control the amount of UTIs that I get and the infection that I deal with. You know, but we're just human. All right, let's get that left arm out in front. I don't know, just when I like see NFL players, in my mind, I see a bunch of people that are like genetically superior to me. And then to see them dealing with, you know, problems, you know, it just puts them at a more human level. Switch. You know, I really enjoy sports and I do find it super motivating, but also half the time I'm looking at it and like how many millions all these guys are getting paid to play a game and all this money and the importance we put on it. I paid money for this shirt and that went, I mean, it's kind of crazy. It's just kind of crazy. All right, let's shake that out. Now we're gonna twist to the right. You know, by the time you factor in putting gas in your car, parking, you know, everybody gets a soda and a hot dog. They said the average cost to take a family of 4 to an NFL football game is $1,000. Who can afford that, you know? It's just wild. Switch, going to the left. And then I also think it's so funny, like how much weight we put in these things. You know, like there was a comedian talking about how strange it is that you wear a guy's work uniform to go watch him at work. You know, when I put on a jersey and go to a Chiefs game, that's pretty crazy. And it's also, all these athletes are way younger than me. You know, these are 20-year-old kids, and I'm trying to dress like them in a wheelchair and go watch a game that they play. Like it's just a crazy concept. Let's shake that out. Let's go back to some punches. As crazy as it is, I don't have any intention of stopping anytime soon. We're getting up early on Saturday to drive back to Kansas to watch the Kansas-Missouri game. You know, luckily, I married a sports fan, and that's just something that we both enjoy. The Kansas-Missouri rivalry is like, it used to be one of the most heated rivalries in sports until they left the conference. But it goes back to like abolitionism. Like a Jayhawker is someone who supports abolishing slavery. That's what it goes back to. And Missouri, they were a southern state. And you know, people from Missouri came and burnt my hometown to the ground because we kept voting to free the slaves. And like the rivalry really goes back to that. Like that's the hatred that we have for each other. All right, punching up. You can do these, you know, historical tours of my hometown in Kansas, and we were a major stop on the Underground Railroad, you know, smuggling slaves up north to get them to freedom. And you know, you can see all these trap doors and like hidden rooms that were built into houses specifically for the Underground Railroad. And then there's all these stories about how like one of their big tricks for sneaking people around, let's go back to punching out, was back in the time, women wore these huge hoop skirts, and they would hide human beings in their hoop skirts. You know, that they would walk down real low, hunched over, and they would walk around inside their skirts because nobody would suspect, this is the way it was told to me, nobody would suspect that an upstanding white woman would let a slave between her legs to sneak him around. So like that was one of their foolproof things that they did. It's just, I don't know, human history is pretty ugly. All right, back to some core. Let's work that chest down to those knees. You know, we were talking about how recent electricity and lighting is. You know, there's all these historical markers in Louisville. One thing I do love about Louisville is it's an old city, and there's a lot of history here. But not all the history is pretty, and it's not all good. And there's a banner right down here on a corner downtown that denotes where the historic slave pens used to be, where they kept human beings pinned up. And it was like, I think the date on it is like 1865 or something, which when I think about that, that is so close for the horrible things that were going on. And there's still horrible things going on, but it's just, you know, we like to think that that was such a long time ago, but 100, 150 years, that's not that long ago. All right. Raising those arms in the middle. You know, something that I think is really interesting, it's, I don't know, it's just, I probably shouldn't think about it, but I don't know if you guys knew this, before Hitler exterminated Jewish people, he got rid of all the disabled people first. That was one of his big initiatives. So, and there's some special German terms for what he did, and that, you know, that's, now we're talking another 100 years more recent, you know? And so, not that long ago, it could have just been, and my family's from Germany, you know? I could have been exterminated for what happened to me. Like, that's crazy. All right, back to some punches. Like, ancient human history is something that really intrigues me, you know, like going back hundreds of thousands of years and stuff like that. And what I think is really interesting is that they find evidence, you know, going back way, way long ago, you know, and they find these bodies, and then they find bodies that have injuries, that have like had calcification grow over them, but they knew that this kind of injury would have made them disabled. So they can tell that 100,000 years ago, we were taking care of the injured and you know, nursing the handicapped people. And I don't know, human nature can be so cool, and it can also be just awful. All right, let's go back to some sit-ups. Let's work that. And now as we do this, we're gonna punch out. Now after you punch out, go down to the toes. So we're out and down. Out and down to the toes. Out and down. All right, now up, out, down. Up, out, down. Wow, keep pushing. All right, shake those arms out, twist into the right. Switch to the left. Chubby Checker's got the right idea, doing the twist. Sorry about the playlist. It all played out. You know, I listened to them before I send them over, so I'm not sure what's going on, but I apologize. All right. Keep working it to the left here. All right, shake that out. Let's get a drink of water. Reposition if you need to. I could definitely use a drink of water right now. All right. Right arm raises. Switch. Here we go. Thank you. Sorry about that, everybody. Man, and the back of this left shoulder is just really tight for me. So I'm gonna have to be careful with that. Gonna have to baby it a little bit. All right, let's reach down to the left. Switch to the right. All right, we're gonna work the core in 4 directions. So working it around the world, forward, to the left, back, to the right. Forward, left, back. Okay, some more twisting. Twisting to the right. As I twist to the right, I can see my half-eaten sandwich over there on the counter, and I am salivating. I was running late for my doctor's appointment, and Hannah was feeling some grilled cheese and tomato soup, and my doctor's appointment was at the U of L building that's got the Panera in it, so I grabbed us some Panera, and I got a turkey sandwich on focaccia bread with mozzarella, and I was only able to eat half of it, and I am, it looks pretty good. Twisting to the left. And I'm a big mustard fan, and I ordered it with extra mustard. And of course, Panera has like some fancy brown Dijon mustard. And it's really good. All right. Punching. You know, I got the turkey sandwich, and Hannah got her grilled cheese, and I got her some tomato soup, and we each got a bag of chips, and she got bread with her soup, and it was almost $30. It is so ridiculous eating out, and it's like, you know, you swipe your card, and then you're like, well, that just ruined it, you know, like, there's no way this is gonna be $30 worth of enjoyment, so. All right, let's go back to some arm raises. Working that up to the high range as far as you can. All right. But yeah, like Chipotle used to be my go-to thing because I could go get a burrito for like $7. You know, it was under $8 with tax and everything, and to me that was worth it. Now it's like $14, and that's not worth it to me for a burrito, and that sucks because I crave them, but then it's like, no, not for that money. Shake that out back to the right. So now what I've done is I really pay attention to the rewards and the fast food that I like to eat and that is near me. I have a reward account, and if I make the decision to splurge, because it's splurging on fast food anymore, like it's not cheap, but if I make the decision to splurge on fast food, then I make sure I get some rewards. Like, you end up saving 30% easy by using the app and just trying to shop the deals. So try to make a point of doing that, but it's just, yeah. Going and grabbing, a burger and a shake for a couple bucks is a thing of the past. All right, let's go back down, reach into the toes and reach into the sky. All right, let's go some disco fever. All right, and this arm is really tight, so I'm trying to bring it kind of in this plane and stretch the back of that shoulder a little bit. Other times I might focus on my balance and getting off of this support arm, but right now I like the stretch that I get at the end range here for that sore area that I got. So I'm just trying to take care of that area and not overdo it. Just hopefully work it a little bit and get some blood to it so it can heal. All right, switch. All right, let's swing those arms like we're going on a brisk walk. And try to make that swing larger and larger. Don't hit anything behind you or in front of you. Making sure I'm taking my own advice, checking behind me here. But let's really work a big range of motion here. And remember, nothing jerky, nothing violent. We're just trying to work our muscles in a nice, limber way. All right, now let's bend those elbows and let's go more to jog pace. Let's pick it up a little bit. Make sure you're getting a little twist in with this. Working this exercise, making it as dynamic as you can. Having a good time. All right, let's start punching. Keep going. Don't stop, guys. All right, let's bend those elbows and we're just gonna flap our wings. And when I do this, I'm really stretching here. You know, you can work this whatever's appropriate for you. All right, bring those arms up like this to 90 degrees, and then we're twisting to the right. Keep eyeing that sandwich again. Switch. And I can't see it, it's hidden behind the Panera bag right now. But my mom used to make this cinnamon streusel cake in like a bundt pan. And that's like one of my favorite desserts. I will eat that morning, lunch, and dinner. Like, love the streusel cake. And Hannah made me one the other day. Just kind of surprised me with a cake. So that was really awesome. And she was playing around with the recipe a little bit. She's like, what do you think if I add cinnamon to the icing? And that was really good. She made this like cinnamon icing. I was a big fan. You know, usually I wouldn't like you altering like one of my mom's old recipes, but that was good. All right, let's work these P&R patterns again. So left arm down to the right and up to the left. The way my dad tells it, this band Journey, after they hit it big or whatever, they used to practice in a warehouse in San Francisco. And when they made it big, they bought the warehouse and then they let artists practice there for free. And that's where my dad got hooked up with Huey Lewis and the News. And he was a roadie for them. And they got their start practicing in the Journey warehouse that they provided to artists. So, switch. You know, not to get too cheesy, but don't stop believing. You know, that's why I chose this. You know, it is cheesy, but it's also true. You know, you gotta believe in yourself. You have to believe that something better is possible, and you have to believe that you can get there through hard work, you know, and you just don't stop believing that. Shake that out. Let's go back to working that core. Yeah, don't stop believing, you know, you have to have hope. I really believe that's one thing this injury has taught me so much, is that we as humans, we can live through damn near anything if we have hope. And that's why I think it's so damaging, a lot of the verbiage that's used when you're first injured, because it really strips hope. And I know there has to be a way to accurately convey what's going on, but you can't shut the door on hope. All right, back with some punches. Little catheter issue checking on here. Keep it up. Push through the burn. All right, twisting to the right. Let's hope the next song works well, and let's switch to the left. All right. Where it began. Back to some punches. You guys know I love my Kansas stuff, but where the Kansas Jayhawks play in Lawrence, there's a bar very close to them called the Wagon Wheel. And it's got an old jukebox that only has, a certain amount of songs on it, and this is one of them. And if you go to school at Kansas, you scream this at the top of your lungs, blacked out, at least once. So good, so good, so good. All right, down to the left. Switch. Touch me. Yeah. All right. You can't help but start singing when this is on. I would guess I was gonna say very early 70s, but it's gotta be 66 to 72, somewhere in there. That used to be one of my old roommate. I lived with this guy for a long time, and one of our favorite games was we would just scroll through movies, and before you click, you could see the title, and then we would guess what year it came out, and then we would click on it and see it. And that was just one of our things. All right, that's it. I'm pretty sure. So we got Sweet Caroline going again. why not, right? Thank you everybody for joining.